Hello, good afternoon. My name is Gürcan. What I would like to do is, without taking much of your time, I'd like to give you a brief information about the Turkish handmade carpets, but please do not think that you have arrived in a regular carpet store. We don't consider ourselves like this. In this region, we have villages where we have courses for ladies who don't have the chance to learn weaving at home. They learn it in the course, and at the end of the course, the Ministry of Education provides them with a certificate, which says they have become professional weavers. And with those certificates, the ladies have their fringe benefits also, like social security, health insurance. When they get retired, they get a pension. Of course, these are all very important to encourage them. This way, we try to convey the traditional handicraft to the coming generations also. And when it comes to carpet weaving, the fundamental difference of Turkish handmade carpets as compared to the other Oriental carpets is the weaving technique. We use double knots for Turkish carpets, and only Turkish carpets have double knots. How they make the double knots and the rest of the process, I would like to show you by the loom. If you step a little bit closer to the loom, you can see it much better that way. Now, to make a double knot, first of all, the lady picks up two vertical threads on the loom. In other words, two warps. It seems as if they are next to each other, but actually we have two layers of warps in the skeleton of the carpet. So she picks up one from the bottom layer, one from the top. The material which makes up the knot goes around the first atalım, then the second warp, and from the center, she pulls both ends down. This is known as a double knot. Another one, once and twice around the warps, then she pulls it down. Now, the advantage is, when you walk on a handmade carpet, actually what you are doing is, you pull the knots. It's the same when you clean them with vacuum cleaners. So if you have double knots, when you pull them, they get tighter. That's why we still prefer them, but on the other hand, it's the traditional weaving technique. You can see the pattern that the lady is following. First, she counts the number of knots in one row on the pattern. Then she makes the same on the loom. And when she completes one row of knots, the horizontal thread, in other words, the weft, goes through the warps. Gösterelim. It's this thread here. Normally, it goes along all the warps. She hasn't completed all the row yet. That's why she's showing a short part of it. Later on, with her iron comb, she beats on the weft to make it tight. Vuralım. So the tighter the weft gets, the tighter the knots become as well. And later on, we have this scissors, which is not a normal scissors like we use at home. They can adjust it here for the desired height of the pile. When you check the back of the scissors, you will see the height of the pile of the carpet. It is pre-adjusted to keep the pile size even of the carpet. And with this scissors, she trims the remaining parts on the carpet to make the pile even. As you can see, it becomes even this way. And the same process is repeated till she completes the carpet. Now, how long will it take to make a carpet like this? This is a pure wool carpet. Among all the other materials we use for carpets, this is the coarsest one. So the least number of knots we have with pure wool carpets. This one here will have like 100 knots in a square inch. The size will be roughly about 4 by 6 in feet, and to make this carpet will take about 3.5 months for a professional weaver. But if that was silk, it would take minimum 1 year because of the fineness of the material silk. Do you have any questions so far? No. Okay. Then I would like to show you also something about the silk production. Silk is the finest material used for carpets, but at the same time the strongest natural material. A lot of people do not dare walking on silk. I would like to show you how they spin the silk from the cocoons. This will give you definitely a much better idea what kind of material silk is. So let's go there. The silk production started in China about 3,000 years ago. In Anatolia, in Asia Minor, where we call Turkey today, it started 5th century AD, during the time of the Romans. Of course, the method of producing the silk worldwide is more or less the same. First, we wait about 45 days for the formation of the cocoon, including the feeding process. In Turkey, we feed silkworms with white mulberry leaves. That's the best that you can feed them with. At the end of the feeding process, the caterpillar, they start to secrete the silk from the gland on the side of their mouth. People collect them, they put them on mulberry branches. They need branches just to be able to stick the fibers on these. This is the only way how they can build the cocoon around themselves. Once the cocoon is completed, the metamorphosis goes on. First the worm turns to a pupa, then they hatch from it as a moth. But if this happens, we will have a hole on the cocoon, which means all the fibers will break. In that case, we can't do anything with the cocoon anymore. To prevent this, before they hatch, we must stop the process, and this is done by hot steam. They are shocked with hot steam. Not all of them. 30% is always reserved for the new generation, but the same is done to the rest. And in that case, the cocoon looks like this one. Shake it. You can hear that there is something in there, but they are not alive. That's the pupa. These are ready to get the silk from. But if I'm just trying to get the silk this way from the cocoon, because it's dry, it's very easy to break the fibers. Look. That is the reason why we put them in a cauldron like this. In here we have just water. It is hot. We leave it here for about 1 hour. They get wet and softer. And afterwards, with this high-tech instrument, this brush, the lady picks up the fibers. Here we go. You can see how fine they are. But for this fineness, silk actually is known to be the second strongest natural fiber in Earth. The strongest natural fiber is spider's web. But we cannot use it in textiles. Not yet. I think they are working on it also. Now, the lady first is going to pull these fibers manually because they stick to each other. So she needs the individual fibers to start unraveling. And once she reaches them, she starts to put them through this little slot right here. On the top, she twists them. And once they go to the spinning wheel, they become one thread on the spinning wheel. You can see them whirling now, which means she started unraveling all these fibers. And please, touch these. You can get an idea of the strength of the material. So even the single ones are so strong, you can imagine that those ones are much stronger because they are all twisted together on the top. And because they are twisted here by the reel, this is also known as reeled silk. At the end of this process, the threads that we obtain, devam et, they look like this one. I know this is not the feeling you expect to have from the silk. This feels more like straw, and the reason for it is, this is raw silk. Silk consists of two proteins. We have the fibroin, which makes the body structure of the fiber, and we have the sericin, that's like the coating on top of it. The sericin is gummy, and that makes it feel like straw at the very beginning. But as I told you, that's not the final thread. We pick up several of these, we twist them again with another instrument till we can obtain this strength here. This is the strength of the actual threads we use for the skeleton of the silk carpets. This feels more like a guitar string. And in this one we have nearly like 150 to 180 filaments like these ones. These go through the dyeing process. During the dyeing, some of the sericin goes off because they are properly heated in the dye, and that makes this material turn from this straw-like feeling into this. Now this feels like silk, right? Because this is silk. And once it's ready like this, we give them to our professional silk weavers. In their hands, this material turns into a piece of art. I think we can call silk carpets as works of art. We don't have Rembrandts or Picassos in Turkey, but we have the ladies who still have the chance to make these, they have the skill to make these wonderful silk carpets. So we are very happy to have these ladies, and we are happy that we can convey this tradition to the coming generations. Now I would like to show you some completed examples of all these different types of material combinations we have in Turkey. But for this I would like to invite you into one of our showrooms. But before leaving, these very much talented ladies, don't you think they deserve an applause? Yes, they deserve an applause. So let's applause them.